Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Firdaus bin Rosli and my trip number is S637AK. I create this video for my assignment 2 of course Physics Marine. So, this is the table of content in this video. I will explain about the contributions of solar radiations to the oceans. Number 2 is the ocean's optical properties, and last, device to measure the turbidity of seawater. Okay, so what are the contributions of solar radiations to the ocean? Solar radiation can play a very important role in the ocean, such as for photosynthesis, temperature regulations, and evaporations. Firstly, solar radiation is used by phytoplankton to produce energy from photosynthesis. This will support the entire marine food chain, including fish and other organisms in the oceans. Then, solar radiation will hit the surface of the oceans. From this, it will affect the ocean currents and weather patterns. This helps regulate the Earth's climate by redistributing the heat around the globe. Warm ocean currents, for example, can transport heat from the equator to the poles, helping to moderate temperatures in coastal regions. After that, solar radiation can cause the water to evaporate from surface ocean, which contribute to the formations of clouds and precipitations. The process of evaporation is driven by the sun's energy and plays a critical role in the Earth's water cycle. Evaporations from the oceans can also help to regulate the Earth's climate. Next, we go to the ocean optical properties. The optical properties of oceans are grouped into inherent and apparent properties. Apparent optical properties are the optical properties that are observed when light interacts with a material or objects, such as its luminosity, transparency, and reflectivity. Inherent optical properties, on the other hand, are the underlying properties of a material or object that determine its apparent optical properties, such as absorption and scattering coefficients. Firstly, we go to the transparency. Transparency is a measure of how much light can pass through a material. A material that is completely transparent allows light to pass through it. Second is luminosity. Luminosity is a measure of how much light a material emits or how bright it appears. Third is reflectivity. Reflectivity is a measure of how much is reflected by a material. For inherent optical properties, it has absorptions and scattering coefficients. Absorption coefficient is a measure of how much of the light that enters a material is absorbed by it. Scattering coefficient is a measure of how much the light that enters a material is scattered or redirected in different directions. Next, we go to the question 3. There are two devices to measure the turbidity of seawater, which are turbidity meter and Secchi disk. Turbidity meter analysis is based on measuring the intensity of transmitted light as a function of the concentrations of the dispersed phase. When the light passes through the suspensions, part of the energy of the falling radiation is transmitted through absorptions, reflections, and the rest will be transmitted. The water sample is then partially absorbed and partially passed through, and the absorbed light is the level of the turbidity. Turbidity meter measuring principle are an infrared diode shines infrared light into the medium. The particles in the medium reflect the irradiated light detected by the receiving diode, which is backscattering principle. The electronic device calculates the relative turbidity of the medium based on the received signal. Number 2 is Secchi disk. The disk is lowered into the water on the rope, and the depth of which is no longer visible is recorded. This depth is known as the Secchi depth and is used as an indicator of water quality, with greater transparency indicating the clearer and the cleaner of water. The mechanism of the Secchi disk is based on the principle of light attenuation, where the amount of light that penetrates the water decreases with increasing the turbidity. These are the list of references.